This is Lab 1, Constant Velocity. Introduction. The purpose of this lab is to track and identify the constant velocity of an object. This lab uses a computational model that creates a diagram of position over time and velocity over time. The result of this lab is that while an object is moving at a constant velocity, the position over time will increase at a linear rate. Principles used in lab. For this lab, we use the position update formula with the velocity in the formula being the final velocity, which is equal to the velocity average because the velocity is constant. Experiment. For the experiment, a roll of string was rolled at a constant velocity from one end of a meter stick to another. The roll starts its velocity when it is rolled and keeps the velocity for the duration of its roll. Observed position. The graph depicts the distance over time from the initial data as found using tracker. It shows an increasing trend in distance as time passes. It is also not perfectly linear like the prediction model will show. This is caused by human errors and other factors such as friction, which lead to the lessening of the position over time as it gets to the later stages. This is explained by the velocity not staying constant like it would without outside factors, and instead it decreases because of friction between the roll of string and the table. Computational model. The computational model shows the predicted position over time if the velocity was to remain constant. Its prediction is without the errors of the observed experiment, as the model does not take into account for variables such as friction. The code performs the function by taking in an initial position of average velocity, which is supposed to be constant, and a change in time, and then it plots two graphs, position versus time and velocity versus time. These are the computational models for position versus time and velocity versus time. What if? If the axis of the model were changed, the graph prediction would be mostly the same, just pointing in a different direction. For instance, if the axis went from x to negative x, the graph would be flipped over the y-axis from its original, instead look like it is steadily decreasing as a negative linear trend toward the origin. What does it mean? It would be hard to determine the exact amount of pushes and pulls that would make up the net force for the experiment. At best, we could determine the major forces that make up the net force of the experiment, as it is not secure from outside forces.